Hello, hello everybody, and welcome. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit more. Welcome to Crafty Hour 84, everyone. Gosh, I can't believe it, we're at 84 already. This has been a fun journey, to say the least. Fun. So, welcome. This is Kourtney with Scrapbook-N-Memories, and so we've got Crafty Hour 84 that we're going to be doing. We played with this really fun collection from Arden, and it just made stunning cards, and it was so fun and easy to design with. I just wanted to keep going. So Deanna and I actually did a retailer training. Let me grab those samples. We actually did a retailer training class with Katie Petite herself, and these were the projects that we did in that class. So we did one card using the rub-ons in that beautiful collection. So there's a little bonus inspiration for you guys. And then we did this layout, and it was so much fun to do the class with Katie because she taught us how to cluster. We basically built this cluster, this cluster, this cluster, that cluster, and that cluster. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We built 5 clusters, and then we put them on the layout, and it was so much fun and easy to kind of work that way instead of trying to fit it all on a layout first. So I learned so much from Katie by doing this. And then halfway through the class, Deanna and I text each other, and we're like, oh my God, we have to use this for our Crafty Hour. So here we are with the Crafty Hour. This is the Field Notes collection by Arden, and it is stunning. So welcome, everybody. Welcome. So the first thing I had, just had some quick, easy homework for you guys. You needed to have 2 A2 card bases. I'm just going to cut mine right now because, well, maybe some of you didn't get to the homework yet, and we'll just cut it together. So I've got an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, and we're going to cut it at 5.5. Okay, so we're just cutting it in half. That way we get 2 card bases, and then we're just going to score it at 4.25. Like I said, this was on the homework list. I'm just doing it with you because I know not everybody gets homework done. Welcome. Happy Thursday? Yes, happy Thursday, everybody. And it appears that my trimmer is a hair fuzzy. So I'm just going to sand that fuzzy off. So that's what we're starting with. We're just going to have our A2 card bases, guys. So in our paper pack, we're going to kind of grab some stuff in advance, and we're going to grab it all together. So all together, we're going to grab these pieces, and we'll come back to them. These are the pieces that were on that paper roll, and I absolutely love that they did that. They're paper. There's no adhesive, no sticky on them. They're matte, and you guys got these in your kit that we gave you, and we just kind of ripped off about 12 inches. So that gave Deanna and I about 6 inches each to kind of play with. So you're just going to grab those, and we're just going to set those to the side, and we will come back to those later. I really hope they come out with some more of those down the road because those were so fun to kind of create with. Then in your paper collection, you're going to grab 3 papers. So you're going to grab this one. This one was my all-time favorite. I love how it kind of burst out, and I thought this right here is going to be my focal point. And that's kind of how I used it on my card, and I kind of burst out from the focal point. So you're going to grab that one. Has green polka dots on the back side of it. And then you're also going to grab the blue words. I loved how nice and bold this was, and I love random book prints, random scripts, random things like that, because it gives it a little something, but not too much, and these kind of prints just sing to me. So you're going to grab that, and then you're going to grab this one right here. I love this one because it was not too busy, but busy enough, and I loved this right here, and I'm we're going to use this as our focal point. Happy Thursday, everybody. It's good to see everybody jumping on. So those are the 3 papers that you're going to grab from your paper stash. Okay. Also in the paper stash, which I really loved, is this thing right here. So this is laser cuts that was in the paper stash. So I love that they have some of those poke out laser cuts now that also come with your paper pad, and that was in the 6x8. And I love now that they're doing 2 of everything in there. So not only was there 2 of all the paper, but there were 2 of all these guys too. So the ones we're going to use, we're just going to punch them out together, guys, is the butterfly right here. I loved that one. There's a piece of paper that has this fluttering butterflies in it, the rainbow, and I love that. There's also some rub-ons that have that, which is also stunning too. Then we're going to grab this circle right here. I love circles, guys. I have a thing for circles. I always love circles. I think they're just more calming to the eye. So yeah, I love circles. And then we're going to do one of these guys. I'm going to pop out beautiful. You can pop out whatever one you want. There's no rhyme or reason, and we're going to punch out beautiful. So I think that is it from that set. Okay, so that's it from that set, and we'll just set that to the side. Then in this set right here, this is your ephemera pack. It's got these frames in here, and then it also has a lot of words and tags and fun stuff in here. So the frame you guys are going to dig out is the green one. So I already used mine on my card, so I'm going to pull the blue one because Deanna used the blue one. So you guys are going to grab your green frame. I grab my blue frame because I already used the green, and it's going to match nicely with this too. And that's the one Deanna used. So that one is available for me to grab. So the blue frame. And then also in this set, you're going to look for this little guy right here. It's like a little color splotch thing. And there was a bunch of them in here. They all have different words on them. The one I grabbed says chase your dreams. You can grab whatever one you want. There's different ones in here. Doesn't matter the color because we're going to rip that off anyways. We're going to customize it. So I'm using the pink one. It says chase your dreams. And then that is it from that kit. That is it from that one. Okay, how are we doing so far, guys? Are we good? Figure we'll all pull it together because otherwise we just lose things anyways, right? Okay, so the first paper we're going to start with is this one right here. Okay, now we're doing it on your card, and I want this to be kind of in the bottom third of my card. So I kind of want it to burst out, but I want this in the bottom third. So what I did is I just kind of eyeballed it, guys. So I'm going to lay it on my card. This is an A2 card, and we're just going to eyeball it because I don't want to cut it like this because that puts it too tall. So I want to put it down. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of eyeball it. And you can kind of see on mine where we have it in that bottom third kind of area. Okay. So it looks like where I sliced mine is right below this orange blob. Okay, the orange blob. So I'm going to put that in my trimmer, and I'm going to chop it right below that orange blob. That's our technical terms there. Okay, so now what we need it to be is, now we're going to cut it down. So we have our first cut. Now we're going to do our other cuts and cut it down once we have that first area that we need. So this is going to be 4 1/8. By 5 3/8. Am I on the screen? Okay, so 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. So my 4 1/8 needs to go this way. So we're up and down. 4 1/8, which is going to be right in between 4 and 4 1/4. And we're going to slice it. These pieces we're not going to use. You can just put them in a pile for later. And then we're going to flip our card, and now we're going to do it 5 3/8 tall. So there is our card front. So when you put it on here, you should have just a little itty bitty amount of white showing all the way around it. And that is perfect. Perfect. Oops, I have 2 card fronts there. Okay, on the list, I had a paper distresser or paper scraper, whatever you want to do. This is a scraper. Tim Holtz has some from Tonic. Sizzix has them. It's just basically a blade. It's a blade. And we're just going to go and in 3 spots, rough it up. Just like that. I'm not doing the whole card. I'm just going to do it here. I'm going to do it along the side. So I'm doing it in 3 spots. It's kind of like that whole triangle thing when we do the design and we do a triangle of design. And I'm just kind of, whoops, don't blow the dust off. Okay, so I did one there. I did one here. Okay, and then I'm going to do one down here too. So 3 spots. If you take too much off, awesome. If you don't take enough, see, I just ripped that. I love it. I'm going with it. We're just distressing it. If you don't want to do this portion, then by all means, don't do it. I just like to rough it up and kind of age it a little bit. And I'm going to actually bend that corner back, and that kind of gives me that roughed up look. Sometimes, and then we're going to glue it down. Sometimes I ink the edges of things, and it kind of just helps stop the eye from the edge. To also stop the eye, you can put your Memories in your foils, like Deanna does a lot. You can ink your edges, or you can kind of distress it like this. All just gives you a different look, and it kind of breaks up that perfect edge. Breaks up that perfect edge. Okay, so we're going to put that on there, and we're going to have a little bit of white, like the smallest amount, all the way around the outside edges. And we're just going to glue that flat. I'm going to kind of fluff those spots a little bit. Something else that's cute to do, and we've done it a lot for the Maker Manias, is this cute little scrap that we have left over. You could totally take a little bit of that scrap and put it under here if you want it to be straight. I think I glued mine down so it won't go down, but put it under there, and then it gives you a little peekaboo of that color instead of the white triangle. Okay, so that is our background. Easy peasy, guys. Easy peasy. So we're going to come in with this guy, coming in with that tag. And then we're going to dig in our laser cut. So we're going to grab this out, and we're going to dig together. We should all have the same ones on this, because Deanna and I did make a list of different ones that we used. And we're going to look for this green guy right there. We're just going to punch that out. And what we're going to start doing, guys, is just layering. So we've got that tag. And then I always like to layer in 3s. So we're going to layer that there. We're going to punch out, I'm going to go with the coral one. We're going to punch that guy out, and we're just going to sit it right there. Okay? And I love that. Okay, that's all there is to it. I'm going to go ahead and glue these guys because in a second, we're going to add some pops and stuff to it. And it's just easier if you kind of glue some of the layers together. So we're just hanging off a little bit on that tag, just like that. And then we've got our little coral tag. Just going to add a little glue to that and put that there too. So we're just adding some interest and adding those tags. Okay, there we go. How are we doing? Next, we're going to grab some greenery pieces. So be gentle poking these guys out. I mean, if you happen to rip something off, it's okay, because most of this is going to be covered. But also, you can always glue it back on. Always glue those pieces back on. So this is in your lasers, and we're just going to go in and very gently poke this guy out. Aren't these fabulous? And I love that these are double-sided too, because maybe you want your greenery facing the left instead of facing the right. So you can just flip it over and use the other side. Okay, so we've got that piece there. And what I'm going to do is we're going to take this piece, and it is essentially going to lay right there underneath that. So I'm just kind of putting it in at an angle and positioning it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit, you know what? I was going to put some liquid glue there, but it's very skinny and we're not going to see it anyways. So I'm just going to put a piece of tape there to hold it there until I get my, it's going to be hidden. I just got a piece of tape. I'm going to put that there. That's going to hold it there until I'm going to put some micro dots on the back side. Just want to make sure it doesn't move on me. We're going to put some micro dots on the back side of these greenery pieces. And then that way it'll just pop them up a little bit. And also hold them steady. I love these little micro dots from Scrapbook adhesive. They just make life so much easier. And we're just kind of spot checking them on the back of this greenery piece. Okay? So those are popped. So these are kind of popped up here. And then we're going to go in with our tagged piece. And we're going to pop that. So I'm going to put a lower foam tape on that. I love my different heights of foam tape. I call this one low, this one medium, and then the circle's my high. So I do a low, medium, and high. So on this one, we're going to put the low foam tape. Made that piece a little too big for that spot. Okay. All right, how's everybody doing? Doing good? And then we're just going to place that. Just like that. Now, on mine, I did some black splats. I felt like this background really needed black splats. But sometimes I don't want the splats on everything. So sometimes I'll complete the card, and then the very last thing I do is do splats. But this one, I felt like I didn't want splats on my butterfly and my other pieces. I wanted it to more stay in the background. So I'm going to splat it at this point, and then add more things to the top. So I kind of did the splats in layers. I just use Amsterdam. It is an acrylic ink, an acrylic paint. I know a lot of you guys have that. If you have watercolors, great, use that. If you have just whatever you use to use black splat, use distress ink, distress spray, whatever your black splat of preference is. And we're just going to add some black splats. Now, when I splat this, I'm kind of going across it like this, kind of like the rays. It kind of has those rays going. So that is kind of what I'm doing. I don't want to hit the whole thing. I just want to hit those special areas kind of in the rays. And this will dry fairly quick because we just did some light splats. So we don't have to worry about it. And then sometimes it helps by putting layers on top of it, because sometimes we get carried away with our splats and it's too much. And this is a way to make it not too much, is by putting other layers on top of it. Okay, so now we're going to grab that circle that we punched out from before. And we're also going to punch out these green leaves. We're going to punch this one right here next to the pink flower. Okay, that one right there. And are these identical? Let me make sure this is the right one. There's 3 different leaves. And then this one right here next to the blue butterfly. So we did that one and that one. And then we're going to do that white butterfly too. So go ahead and punch all those out. And I don't know if Facebook is doing comments because it hasn't updated in 16 minutes. So I don't know if it's doing its weird thing tonight or not. And then we're going to grab a bee. Any size bee works. I think they're small, medium, and large. I love these bees in this set. They're just so cute. So, so cute. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take that circle, and what I kind of did with this circle is I looked at the paper underneath it, and you can see that circle right here from the background. So what I kind of did is I laid that circle pretty much where the circle is underneath. Just like that. I just put that circle there. And then we're going to take these leaves and we're just going to tuck them underneath. Just like that. So I'm going to put just a little adhesive right on the tips of those leaves. Okay. And I'm just going to tuck them under and glue them. So we're just gluing it to the circle. We're not actually gluing anything else yet because we're going to pop this whole piece. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing with my other leaves. I'm just going to put a little bit of liquid glue right there at those points. And I'm going to tuck them behind. And I like my things hanging off my cards. If you don't want your leaves and things hanging off your cards, then by all means don't stick them out as far as I am. But I love to have things poking out from my card. Okay, so now that we have that, we are going to go in and now pop this whole piece. So we're going to flip it over and we're going to put pops on the back of this whole thing. I always flip it and give it a squish test. Oh, it squishes. I'm going to put something right there. Okay, that should be good. So now we're going to peel this off. Oh, Amy says they're power crafting. Okay, awesome. My comments are working. Facebook was acting up today and it was acting up yesterday too. Whenever I tried to log in to look at my comments, it was giving me an error 500 and said the page did not exist anymore. So I was flying in the dark. Glad you're crafting along. Sometimes I'm like, am I just talking to myself for an hour? Are you crafting along? Are you enjoying the projects? Give us a little feedback so we kind of know how things are going. I put a pop dot there, and you know what? It's not even touching the card. Good job, Kourtney. So I'm going to sneak that pop dot. I think I did that on my original too. In fact, I know I did that on my original. I'm going to sneak that guy back in there. And there we go. Okay, there's our guy. Then we're going to take that cute little bee and we're going to bend his wings up just a little bit. And we're going to put a micro dot These things last forever. There's so many on here. Oh, it looks like I ripped off an antenna. But that's okay. And he is gonna buzz right on over and land right there. Okay, buzz on over. I'm gonna do the same thing to the butterfly, bend his wings up. I love to bend the butterfly wings up, give him a little lift. And I'm going to put a pop on him too. I'm going to use a little bit bigger. Okay, thank you, Evelyn. Thank you, thank you. Okay, and then that butterfly is going to go, it's going to shadow. It's going to go right on top of that green one. That's going to kind of shadow it underneath it. Isn't that great? Okay. Last thing is we need to add our word, and I did beautiful. And I'm going to put pops on that. And again, I'm going to cut, because it's going to overlap that little frame, and it's going to hang over. I'm going to put the pops at the top, little pops at the top, and then those will go on that frame there. Boy, I can't get the backers off tonight. Okay, and then we are going to just sneak that right under there. Just like that. I think that one might be a little bit, hold on, I want to shift him over just a little bit. Get it under my butterfly's butt. There we go, perfect. And then in your homework, I told you to grab some black jute, whatever you got. We're just gonna take it. I asked Amy, I said, Amy Brock, how do you get those beautiful little loops? And she said, make 2 loops at the top, 1 loop at the bottom. Okay, so we have 2 at the top, 1 at the bottom, and I'm still practicing at this, but she makes beautiful loops, and I have a scrap, so my scrap isn't as long. So I got 2 loops at the top, 1 loop at the bottom, and you just twist and put it up like a bunny ear. Twist and put it up. I still got to get a little practice in, still working on my random loops, but that is that. And then we are just going to jam it in under this circle. So kind of what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a lot of liquid on here. Just a big blob of liquid. You could do a glue dot. You could do whatever you want. It's like you need 5 hands. Yeah, and I put glue on it, and now I don't have a good gripping of it. And we're just going to jam it underneath that circle. Ha, not too bad. What do you think, Amy? I'm learning. I'm getting better. Amy does some great randomness. I find I struggle with random jute and random cheesecloth because I think I overthink it. So there we go. That was a hint by Amy. And then last thing, I said just add some gems. Grab some gems of any sort. The ones I had were just left over. These are smoky topaz. If you have black, if you have whatever shimmers you have. I love these ones by Spellbinders because there's so many in a pack and there's so many different sizes. And I just kind of scattered a couple on there. So I put 2 here, and then I kind of went up towards the top and then did 3 up here. 1, 2, 3. And just kind of give it there we go. Little bling. Just adds a little something, even with that pinhole size gem. Oh my gosh, we are right on it too, guys. 30 minutes on that one. It will be a crafty hour. How's it look, guys? And my other butterfly needs to do a shh. How are we doing? Did you guys get it? Okay. That is card number 1. Card number 1, guys. Okay, for our second one, you know, we gotta do a shaker, right? Gotta have a shaker. Gotta have a shaker. Especially when there's these beautiful frames on here. So I was trying to find a piece of paper, and you know what, we'll come back to that part. But I wanted a shaker part, so we're gonna do a shaker. So our first thing we need to do is cut down our blue piece of paper, and I'm pretty sure it's that same measurement we just did. Yep, 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. Yay! Okay, everybody's got it. So we got 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. I'm going to flip it first and do my 5 3/8. Okay, and then I'm going to flip it and do my 4 1/8. So what you should end up with, did I use these? Nope, I didn't use that for anything, is, anybody see where my card front went? I ended up with too many and now I lost one. Okay. We're going to put our blue on, and we're going to have just a little hair of white all the way around the outside edge. Just a little hair of white. And we're just going to glue that down. Okay, here we go. Blue down with a little bit of white all the way. Man, that wind is picking up. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but it's crazy windy out there today. Okay, so there's our first piece. Our second piece is this piece right here. Now, I loved this piece, and I needed something to go in my window. And I thought, you know what, guys? What better to put in a window than a butterfly? I absolutely love it. Let me move my shaker bits, and you can kind of see there's the butterfly right there, okay? So what I did with this is I just kind of went in and positioned it so the bottom wing of my butterfly is almost touching the frame, like almost touching. And then over here, and then I just took a pencil because we're going to use this portion up here, so don't cut too much off. I just went in here and drew a line here and a line there. And then I'm going to draw a line here and a line there. So what I'm doing is I'm just going in the corner and I'm just boxing in where my frame is. And the frame is different. It is, I have it taller than it is wide. Okay, so taller than it is wide. There is two different ways to do the frame. Okay, so now what we need to do is essentially cut this out. When we cut it, you need to cut on the outer side, just a hair, not too much, but on the outer side of those lines. That way you can glue that to the back of your acetate, okay? So just a hair, you can see that, just a hair on the outside of those lines. Okay, and then if you have those unruly pencil marks on there, now you're going to go in and erase those. Okay, you're just going to erase those pencil lines. Okay, perfect. And we'll just set this guy to the side. We'll come back to this paper momentarily, but just kind of set this guy to the side because now we need to prep our frame. Like I said, I have a blue frame. You guys are going to have the green frame. And we're going to prep it for a shaker. So we're just going to take Suquang or score tape, whatever you call it, and just put it all the way around the frame. And then in your homework, I told you to have a piece of acetate. So that piece of acetate is going to come in right now. I'm just using scraps of what I've got left over. Perfect. lastly, we're going to peel off our backing and put our acetate on. Scruffy, you're fine. Okay, so there's our acetate. And while we've got it here, let's go ahead and put our foam tape on the back side too. Again, love these strips from Scrapbook Adhesive. They are perfect for shaker cards. And because this is going to be a shaker and it's going to have the little Ghiblies in it, you want to make sure that all your foam touches. You don't want to have any gaps or any holes, because then your shaker stuff will fall out. Okay, so we're just going all the way around, building our frame. Okay, and now we can set that to the side. Actually, yeah. We're gonna set that to the side for a moment. Okay, so then we come down to this piece. So this piece, I love this piece. It is gonna be what goes on the background here. Okay, so everybody's might be a hair different depending on where you cut yours. I'm going to cut off the name strip. And essentially what we're going to do is kind of square it up. Okay, so we're going to square it up. So let's see what the measurements look like. So my back piece is 4 1/8, and my top piece is 3 7/8. So we're going to take off 1, 2, 3, 4 tick marks. So I'm at 5 3/8. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 5 1/8 is what I'm going to take off. So 5 1/8. Doesn't have to be perfect. You just kind of want it to frame it. Let's see how we're looking. So you just want to have equal blue. There we go. Perfect. Around all the sides. So equal blue. And I'm thinking now my little piece I cut it too small, but we will make this work. Okay, so again, I'm going to do the roughen thing that we did on the other one. I'm going to rough it at the top. As much or as little as you want. Kind of add a little distress to it. And then I'm going to do it over here at the side. I didn't do this one on the bottom because, well, our embellishment kind of goes down there and you couldn't see it anyways. So we're all, let me rough that up a little bit, and then we're just going to glue this piece down. Okay, this piece is going to get glued down. And it's just going to go right in the center. Okay, my piece, I just realized I cut this way too small to fit on here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on a scrap piece of paper. I'm going to cut out a scrap piece of paper and put it on that. So I need my scrap to be 2 3/4 by, we'll say 3. 2 3/4 by 3. And I'm just going to use a scrap. I just need something for my shaker to stick to. So I'm just going to glue that on there. Otherwise, I don't have a closed area. Okay, that's perfect. That's going to work. That's going to work. I just needed something on it. Okay, now I'm going to add my shaker bits. These are just random little sequins and stuff that I have that match. This might even be from a Christmas snowy collection because I had little snowflakes and lots of white in it. And then I still had on my table and desk from the last Crafty Hour, these guys. That turquoise and the little bit that was in those matched really nicely too. So we're going to just add a couple of those little turquoise colors because it matched really nicely to add those in. Okay, put everybody back in the thing. Okay, now we can peel our frame off and glue it down. And again, remember, your frame is going to be taller than it is wide. It's just a hair difference in size. Okay. Yep, taller is wide. Let me stick my head in the way and stick it. And then there we have, perfect, our little shaker. Okay, everybody got it? Isn't that perfect? I love it. I love how it kind of has the little layers of ephemera and stuff in there. It's really nice. Okay, so that is an embellishment of itself. Now we're going to cluster. So we're going to go in with that tape. Everybody's going to have a different portion of this tape. I'm going to rip it randomly towards me because I want that white edge. And we're going to lay it here. And then I want it to come down here. And just rip it. And there we go. So I just want it to kind of lay over here, kind of from top to bottom. And you're going to come in a little bit. This is the tape that came in a roll. There's 3 different ones. It has a lot in there. I don't remember how much is in there, but there is a lot. Okay, so we're going to put that piece. And I love how this already has the collage look and everything's on there. I just thought it was stunning. Okay, so our next piece we've got is this one. It's a layering piece also. And we're going to come in and do the same thing. Okay, I'm going to rip it. So this time I'm going to lay it in there and I want it to nest inside here and nest inside there. So again, we're just doing another layer with that other paper tape. And we'll just glue it down. Just coming in a little bit. We're just building our clusters with the tapes. Isn't that pretty? Okay, then we're going to go to our die cuts. I absolutely loved these ladders. I thought these ladders were stunning. So we are going to, you know what? I find it easier to work with these if they're not in the sheets together. Okay, so we're going to take the ladder at the top. And again, we're just clustering and layering. So we're going to layer that in. Kind of just like that. We're just layering it in. So we're just going to add a little liquid adhesive on here. use my tweezers. I'd rather get my fingers. So we're going, again, kind of top and bottom centered. Top and bottom centered. Just like that. Okay, then we're going to put our shaker on there. Oops, I just lost a bit. Guess I didn't press it. Did I forget to take the... Oh, I did. I missed a side to get the backing off. Sticks so much better when it has the backing off. No wonder my bits fell out. Okay, now let's give it the shaker. Okay, now we're good. We're just going to put some liquid on that because it's already pretty much layered and popped. Put that in there, and we're just going to kind of overlap everything. So again, kind of nesting it at the bottom. And then we've got the postage stamps, and you can rip off and pick whatever one you want on those. Got a little pink one here. I haven't used anything pink, and we're just going to tucky it right there at the top. We're just going to tuck it, and that is our third layer. I always like to, when I layer things off of each other, to do them in threes. And that was just from that long piece. Just pick one, any one. Everybody's going to have different ones depending on where it was ripped from. And you're just going to stick it down just like that. Okay, back to our die cuts. We are going to look for this big pink guy. We're going to take him off of there, and I'm going to cut this apart. Okay, so we're going to pop this big pink guy out, and then we're going to pop out two bees while we're at it too, because, wow, I just loved these bees, and I could not get enough of them. So two bees and the pink flowers. Almost thought I ripped that little flower's head off, but I ripped the packaging, so that's okay. A little violent with that, so there's that. Then we want some bees. Kind of a medium one and a small one. There's a medium one. Let me see if I can find a smaller one. Kind of want two different sizes. Here's our bees. Also, while we're here, we're going to go with this spriggy guy right here, this green sprig. And he's double-sided, so we're just going to flip him. Perfect. Also, we're going to look for that lunar moth. Loved him. And then this tag. So all these are on the laser cuts. We're just punching them out. Okay. The first thing we're going to do is our pink guy. And I'm going to put a pop. We're going to put a foam behind that one. Because he's going to be off the frame. But the rest of them will be on the frame. So we'll put liquid on those. Okay, and I loved how I kind of put this in the corner, and it just kind of embraces the corner here, just like that. Okay, and then this little sprig, we're just going to stick it down in that corner. So put a little bit of liquid on the bottom of him. And we're just going to stick them down in there, because you're always going to have a little greenery just kind of poking here and there. There we go. Our two bees, we are going to put micro dots on those and puff their wings again like we did on the others. And we'll put one up here and then put one here on the shaker. And we're flying around. There we go. There's our two bees. And then we've got this, and this left. It's a random sequence. And then I also said it has some cheesecloth or something. We're going to put a little bit in here. Again, totally optional. My cheesecloth seems to be in a twisted knot. Kind of double layered. There we go. This is where I'm horrible at the cheesecloth too. My random's not always so random. So we're just going to kind of stick that there on the corner. Have it poking out, and what I usually do is put a big old dollop of liquid adhesive on there, and I'm going to use my Helmar just to put a blob there, and just kind of stick it in, because then we'll put something over the top, and that'll kind of hold it down. Our next piece is this guy, and I'm just going to put some low foam tape on the back side of him. Just a quick little strip. Low foam tape. And just kind of overlap the flowers. Overlap that frame a little bit. I actually needed to go a little bit lower, but I think it grabbed everything, so it's going to stay there. It's going to stay there. Then we're going to pop our butterfly, or our lunar moth, I guess it is. And again, we're just going to shadow the one that's underneath it, so it kind of lines up with it. And then on here I have Chase Your Dreams. I'm just going to rip that off, and we're just going to use that portion because I felt like it needed some words on here of some sort. We'll just put some liquid on there and then add the little sentiment there. Okay. And then the last thing I did is I kind of went in with those gems again and did a random little sprinkle. So it looks like I got a couple different sizes here. Just going to go in and add some little sprinkles there. And then I'm going to go to the top. Oh my gosh, we are doing good on time, guys. I was a little worried on this one. With all the clustering and layering, but we are doing good on time. Okay, is that it that I did on that one? And that's it on that one. So that is card number 2. Card number 2. And then as a bonus to kind of just show you guys what I got too, oh, well, let me go grab the piece of paper. I'll be right back. So an extra card that I did was this one right here, which is my little ATC card. So over in our scoop group, Scrapbook-N-Memories scoop group, that's kind of our little message board group, I have this on here. So at the beginning of the year, I decided to do a 52-week mixed media altered card challenge. It's one card a week. It is a deck size. So basically I grabbed a deck of cards, and each week we have a different theme. So you kind of use that theme to make whatever you're doing. So week 6 was add a torn book page. And that's what I did for that one. So that is my card. They're all a deck of cards. Week 6, and I did my book print in the background. And then on here, I did the rub-ons. So these rub-ons are from that collection. This is the cheesecloth, and then all of these pieces are from the laser cuts, all the laser cuts that we've been playing with. So that is what that is. So if you guys want to join in on that challenge, there's an extra inspiration. If you want to join in on the challenge, it's just a card a week, and you don't have to even keep caught up. If you get 5 done in 1 week, great. But that's just kind of a little extra inspiration. Arden had posted on their Facebook page. I can't remember if it was the public page or one of their little private groups. They posted how to cluster and use your scraps from Field Notes collection, which I thought was genius and perfect timing because we're going to have lots of scraps and stuff left over from this one. So you guys, I posted that also over in the Scoop group. I'll try to find the link and post it over in Crafty Hour Creations also. That way you can see it, but it's using the scraps left over from this collection, which I thought was perfect timing for the Crafty Hour. So thank you everybody so much for joining me for Crafty Hour 84. I hope you enjoyed these cards. I hope you kind of crafted along. I cannot wait to see what you guys have created. So make sure to post those in the Crafty Hour Creations Facebook page. And then, as always, tomorrow, our next Crafty Hour, number 86, will go live at 11 o'clock Central, 9 o'clock Pacific. Deanna has already created the event, so you can click that you are attending. We have the kits in store now, and quantities are limited because we did put an exclusive embossing folder in that kit, so we cannot get any more of those. So tune in tomorrow, guys. I cannot wait for you guys to see our next Crafty Hour. We're super excited about it. Thank you for joining me tonight, and as always, happy crafting, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.